Welcome to the September 15th edition of the PFF Forecast. A little remote action here, traveling around, but we got to give the people what they want, of course.
Look, Jordan, I think your hair looks great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just literally got out of the shower like 2 minutes ago, so it does not look great. But I have this really cool wall behind me to distract you. So it's going to be a great show. We're going to go through our first traditional Wednesday evening podcast where we figure out what our lock of the week is going to be and go through the week 2 slate of games. Let's rock. Right. In preparing for this, I had to remind myself how we do this podcast. And hopefully you're feeling confident.
Yeah, I'm it's interesting because I just did Steve Fan's show. Steve, he got sick, his kids got sick, his wife got sick, and I feel like, again, this is how, a measurement problem is. Technically 6 people got sick, but I feel like mass wise is like 8 people got sick.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, 100%. Thoughts and prayers to our main man, Steve. Let's do this. Let's start let's just go back and forth. I think I have about 5 different picks that I feel good about and want to throw around with you. Okay. I do want to mention though, this is Wednesday night. If you're betting on a Thursday morning, that's good. Our new member of the PFF family, Robbie Greer, published a really cool article on the site this week about the value of betting earlier in the week. And so I would encourage everyone to go to pff.com, check that out along with all the other great betting content, of course, that you can get there. But it emphasizes why you might want to snap these up quickly. Let's start with the Thursday night game. Okay, because this game kind of ugly, Giants versus the football team in Washington. And the one that I'm not going to ask you to bet on the football team, but I am going to ask you to consider going over 40.5 in the year of our Lord, 2021. That is the lowest total, I believe, by 2 points. I think it's actually down from 41.5, I think is where it opened.
Lowest total of the week last week was 41.5. Also, New York versus, in this case, Denver, that game landed 40. So yeah, this is the lowest total of the season so far.
My take on this is, look, we saw a really bad version of the Giants offense. Daniel Jones is not that bad. I think I think he will get it together, but also there's 2 quarterbacks. I mean, Daniel Jones, like 5% of his plays last week were turnover worthy. He's a guy that fumbles, puts the ball up for grabs. Taylor Heineke is going to do something similar. So I could see this game going over, rather easily. And I think both teams have what in people's opinions are better defenses than offenses. But both offenses have plenty of weapons.
Yeah. Washington did a lot of good things offensively this last week from a process standpoint. So, for example, they ran motion 62% of the time, which was the 3rd most in the NFL. Like, generally speaking, that's going to be a good thing for you if you're an offense. That being said, there is one really rough thing about this game. The Giants, 22% of their targets on Sunday were contested. Additionally, 31% of the Los Angeles Chargers targets were contested on Sunday. That was the 2nd highest rate in the NFL to Tennessee, who had the worst offensive scheme I haven't told you the story we've ever seen. So the hard part is contested catches, generally speaking, are not conducive to scoring. So that's the one that's the one thing. I do think this total is low. I do think you could get some shenanigans, but in a week where I think that there are better options, I don't know. Like, I probably will place a small bet on the over, but I don't think I'm going to place my biggest bet of the weekend on the over. The other thing it's important to, tomorrow night, there is a 50% chance of rain. It should be 82 degrees, but it says scattered thunderstorms. Look, I don't know if that's going to have a huge effect, but just something to think about.
Okay. All right. I can get on board with that. All right. Tell me what you got.
Okay. This game, so there's two underdogs I like this weekend. One of them you're buying low, one of them you're buying high, and I don't care. I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders.
I knew this was coming.
Plus 5.5, going to Pittsburgh. I know you're not getting any key numbers. You could probably, like, whatever. You could probably bet it on the money line. The Steelers' offense was absolute garbage on Sunday. Buffalo's defense isn't exactly great. And if you watch the Las Vegas Raiders, what did they do to the Baltimore Ravens on defense?
They rushed the passer.
They rushed the passer
really well. They had the highest pressure rate of any team in the NFL. Now, my question to you is going to be, okay, there's a huge difference between Lamar Jackson holding onto the ball for 3.1 seconds, one of the longest times any quarterback in the NFL, compared to Ben Roethlisberger, who gets rid of it last year in the quickest time we've ever seen, 2.2 seconds, and was hardly under pressure against Buffalo. So that's kind of my pushback there, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, the only issue that I have with the idea of Roethlisberger having this, getting rid of the ball quickly is it doesn't work. He was the lowest graded quarterback in the NFL last week. So I think the Steelers on offense are damned if they do, damned if they don't, right? Because they have, if they hang on to the ball too long, he's going to get sacked. And if he gets rid of the ball quickly, they're kind of a very impotent offense. So that's my take there. On the other side of the ball, I think what's interesting, and our colleague Timo Risky brought this up, and he of course always has great ideas. That Ravens defense looked really good against the Raiders for the first 1.5 quarters of the game, but eventually it wore out. The Steelers kind of play a similar defensive style, which is kind of like blitz and then try to cover, and eventually it caught up to them. And the Steelers have less depth than they did this season ago, although they got Melvin Ingram, which I thought was a great signing. He played fantastically the other day. The Raiders probably should have put up more points on Monday Night Football if Darren Waller wouldn't have dropped everything. So, look, if I'm getting 5.5 here, the Raiders offense is the best unit in this game, I think. And they were
strong take.
Yeah, to me, that's the handicap, right? The Raiders are the best offense in this game. Their defense will probably struggle against the good offenses in the league, but held up pretty well against a decent offense in the Baltimore Ravens, and will probably hold up against the Steelers. And if that game's going to play that way, I'm going to take the dog.
Yeah, this was one of my favorite ones too. So I'm glad that you brought it up. Before we get back to all of the picking of the games and even some non-games that we love, reminder that you can get all of the great things that we use every single day at pff.com with an elite subscription or an Edge subscription. Both of them are great. The Edge subscription gives you all of the premium content, plus all the fantasy tools that you need, rankings, projections, wide receiver, cornerback, matchup chart, all that good stuff, plus 0 to 100 grades for every single player, all the rookies, everyone you need. And if you get an elite subscription, you can get the player props tool, the betting dashboards with all the predictions, the DFS optimizer, which is absolutely fantastic and a must-have if you play DFS, plus weekly game-by-game grading for all of your favorite players. So go ahead to pff.com. Week 1 is over, but don't go through week 2 without having it. Also, Fantrax, it's the number one place to host your fantasy football league. They offer multi-team trades, player salary, contract options, the whole deal. Use promo code PFF at fantrax.com/PFF and get a chance to go to any regular season game plus $6,000. And last but not least, our friends at DraftKings. Week 1, it's over. Okay. But we're just getting started with the NFL season. That's the beautiful thing about betting. If you use promo code PFF at the DraftKings Sportsbook, you can get $200 in free bets instantaneously if you bet $1 on any football game. So go to DraftKingsSportsbook.com or download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It is the best sportsbook app out there. They have all these great single game parlays as well, so you'll want to go check it out. Plus, use promo code PFF to get $200 of free bets instantly. You must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WIN-IT. One of the things that I should have mentioned a few minutes ago is there were a bunch of games that we liked on Sunday night where you're getting kind of the ass end of the number now.
Which is what by design.
Right. Absolutely. So like, I was really excited to come in here and talk about the Niners. I was excited to come in here and talk about the Chiefs. And those are out now. You're getting the hook there. Let me ask you this kind of theoretically. What is your take on the league construct from a totals perspective? Do you feel like you understand anything better after watching week 1, or are you still like not sure if like you're calibrated on totals?
Yeah, let me I thought we did better, especially against close, on totals than we did on sides in week 1. We were about a unit down in green line on close. We were up if you look at opening numbers, blah blah blah, whatever. But like, I think what we did was use 2018 as the calibration was perfect, because if we would have used 2020, every game would have been in the 50s and we would have got crushed because unders did great. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, we were, there was the over in the Jacksonville-Houston game. I thought that one worked. Obviously, there was the over in San Francisco-Detroit, which we wrote up that worked. There was the under in Arizona-Tennessee, which was, we were lucky to get, of course. And then there was the over in the Monday night game, which I think we were lucky to get, and the over in the Los Angeles Rams game, which we were lucky to get. But then there were a bunch of unders, and those were games that I think, like Seattle, Indianapolis, that game started quick, did not finish that way. Philadelphia, Atlanta started quick, did not finish out that way. Dallas, Tampa Bay, flew over the total, even though there was one of the highest ones of the week. Looking at this week now, we do see a lot of value on totals, which could just mean that we aren't seeing it right because we're off market on so many. But I think that there's a certain amount of value there, especially in a couple places where maybe other people wouldn't see it. We certainly do.
I'm going to bring one up. The Houston Texans visit the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns are favored by 12.5 points in this game, total of 48. And when you look at a total, a 48, and you go, okay, but you're expecting the Cleveland Browns to blow out the Houston Texans. Will the Houston Texans be able to fight back? And I think what they showed against the hapless Jacksonville Jaguars is like, they have a real offense. I mean, Tyrod Taylor had a 105 plus passer rating under pressure and when clean, made a big time throw on almost 10% of his throws. Is a mobile quarterback. Like, this is not one where I'm super excited about taking either side given the spread here, but I think both offenses can score. I think the Baker Mayfield throw away ish really colored that Chiefs performance poorly, but I thought he played tremendously well, had a 75 PFF grade, 118 pass rating from a clean pocket, made a big time throw on 9.4% of his passes. Like, he looked really good. So from a total perspective, this is, I think, my favorite one of the week, over 48 in Texans Browns.
I like that. For sure. That number has moved down a little bit, I think, in part because of Odell Beckham becoming inactive probably for this game. So certainly something to monitor there. Okay, here's what I'm going to propose. This is the underdog that I like. I messaged this to you. I know you're busy, so you probably just didn't. You changed the subject, but
maybe I was waiting. Maybe I was waiting for this.
You changed the subject, but and the market agrees with me because it's down from 4 to 3.5, but I think Indianapolis matches up okay with Los Angeles this week.
I was so afraid that we were going to have to talk about this game because, look, okay, let's go back to the Rams-Bears game. We talked about this on the podcast on Sunday night, which, by the way, I think we talked about. I had so much fun doing that. I'm so glad. I'm so glad football's back, man. Like drinking coffee during the fourth quarter, getting to talk about NFL football with you, and just like it's such a. I'm so lucky, to have that opportunity. It's so much fun. But we talked about the Rams, and the game against the Bears was so much to me about Andy Dalton never posing a threat to the Rams. And because of that, we looked at the Rams and go, oh my God, what a juggernaut. And you look at the Colts, first game with Carson Wentz actually playing meaningful football. They get the doors blown off of them by the Seahawks. And those things are actually kind of correlated because we think the Seahawks are the best team in the NFC West. The market clearly does not. So the Seahawks blowing the doors off the Colts may be perceived as a little more of a damnation of the Colts than we might expect. We were not surprised to see the Seahawks beat the Colts handily. And by the same token, I think the Rams' victory over the Bears was, while impressive, maybe not as impressive against a Bears defense that is a little bit off and an offense that was quite literally neutered. I mean, that offense was a joke and a half. Like they had a 4th and 15 opportunity and we're like, there's no way Andy Dalton can't throw the ball 15 yards. So while I understand, that's how I'm getting on board with this. At the same time, I worry that Carson Wentz is really just Andy Dalton in sheep's clothing. And the Colts offense could be one of those offenses that just does not give you a chance to win games.
Yeah, that's the thing. The thing that happened with Carson Wentz, though, was he did eliminate the thing that made him bad the other day, last season, which was negatively graded throws. Like he did a really good job of avoiding that. I think
he just didn't make any throws.
Right, but okay. So here's where I see this, and again, this is very much colored by one of the games I think the market missed in a very similar number Sunday, which is Green Bay, New Orleans, which New Orleans was far superior to Green Bay in the trenches, right? And I felt like they pressed that edge and no one really understood that, right? That could happen. And it also happened in Atlanta, Philly. Los Angeles is not good defending the run. They're not good rushing the passer except for one player. They're a little bit weak in the secondary after Ramsey. They don't have great linebacker play. And on offense, it's basically Andrew Whitworth and a bunch of guys, right? Indianapolis has some real studs up front, and they are a team so that to me, I think they have a decided advantage up front. And I think that decided advantage is not enough for Stafford to overcome. And then secondarily, I think the fact that Frank Reich is a better in-game tactician than Sean McVay is also worth something too. I think the Colts are going to use every down in this game. I think that they just got off of playing a team with almost the exact same offense. So they should have some familiarity there. They're playing at home. The Rams are going at
that offense kicked their ass though.
It did. That offense has a much better quarterback too.
Yeah. Well, yes, I mean that's for sure. I guess my big question here, and let's move on to another game after this point, but Aaron Donald could end Carson Wentz here. He holds on to the ball. Andy Dalton at least got rid of the ball quickly. Yeah. Carson Wentz is going to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. And so Quentin Nelson and the ability of that interior line to kind of stymie Aaron Donald pushes me closer to that. So okay, let's I like that one. I like where your head's at. I was predictable, but I like where you're going.
Okay, so that one is again a hold your nose thing. There is another hold your nose game on the list that I will not bring up. I refuse to, but it's on there.
Can I guess which one it is?
Yeah.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes, I can't.
I refuse.
This is a team that Teddy Bridgewater will not like. Bridgewater, you can ding him a lot, right? Like, I don't know if Teddy's capable of losing to a Jaguars team. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's not capable of beating the great quarterbacks most games, but I think what Denver's buying into is he'll beat the Jaguars of the world.
Okay. So this brings me actually to something that I was going to propose to you, which was there aren't a lot of teasers available, but I do think this one is interesting because we'd shade the under in both these games. Broncos teased to a pick, and the Bears teased out to 8.5 plus 8.5. Sorry, fuck. I'm an idiot. The Bengals teased out to plus 8.5 in Chicago.
The Bengals, when you could get the Bengals at plus 3.5, they were the best bet on the board, in my opinion. Now it's 2.5. But
that's not a traditional teaser where you're like, I'm taking teams I'm confident in, I know a lot about, and like, but I do think it provides some opportunity because look, both those games have totals of 45.5. None of those teams are explosive. And you have an opportunity, with the Broncos, like it really could be the case that the Jaguars are just stuck out loud. And the Bengals were very game against a Minnesota team that, look, people think are better than the Bears. So I did want to bring that one up. What's your take on that?
Yeah, teasing through 0 is not great, right? Even though there are some games that do, because you're only teasing through 3
for the Broncos, right? Yeah, you're
so like you're
teasing it to a pick. Yeah.
Like, I guess the reason that you would do this is that you think that there's such a huge chance that the Bengals, like, I do think that the Bengals 3-7 that you're getting is worth enough to not necessarily need all 20%, 22% on the Denver game, right? Like, that's basically what because like, and we did have Cincinnati money line when it was available, I believe, when it was a lot more expensive. Like, I guess this is the way, and we've already made a big bet on Cincinnati. This is a way to get some of that, to continue to buy into it without sort of being a huge donkey, I guess. So that is okay. Let's leave that on the list. So do you want me to do one more?
Do one more, because my favorite bet is still out there.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go under in Buffalo, Miami.
47.5. Now, this is interesting. So this is in Miami. The Bills are coming off of an embarrassing loss. Are you buying into this is the start of the Bills' regression, and this is a sign of more things to come?
That, but also just Miami got a win, but I don't think it was the most not convincing, but deserved win, I guess, is the way. So that's kind of where I'm at. The other thing in this game, so this is the sneaky thing. So weather today in 30% precipitation.
I was literally about to bring that up. I'm so glad you're
50% participation. Friday, 40% precipitation. Saturday, 40. Sunday actually is 20. Like, it's on the low end, but we know like the stochasticity of weather. Maybe like, this sounds really silly, but like the models that are generating some of the bets that are putting down money on the over here possibly could be looking at just the Sunday forecast, when the Sunday forecast is surrounded by days that are more rainy than Sunday is, and very easily could bleed into this, right? And so go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, not only that, but if you look at Sunday's weather, wind 10 miles per hour, humidity nearly 80%, and it's going to be 90 degrees.
The better offense is going to be in blue jerseys in 90 like Miami's going to make Buffalo wear their home jerseys, and like it's just I would imagine they're going to be a little bit sluggish. Now these two teams played week 2 in the exact same conditions last year, not the exact same conditions, and Buffalo, it was like 38-35. So that doesn't necessarily mean there won't be any scoring, but it is something where I do think under's the right play. It might not be the best play.
Okay. Are you ready for my
Let's do
favorite play? Okay. It's a little combo platter here. Many of you know that my favorite thing on PFF.com is the player props tool.
Oh, yes.
And as a man of faith, I have visited the Mecca, and I am once again here to tell you that the best bet of the weekend is Patrick Mahomes throwing for over 2.5 passing touchdowns at plus 127. He is playing a Baltimore Ravens team that, while hungry and pissed and smarting off their loss, blitzes more than any other team in the NFL. No quarterback is better against blitz. No quarterback is higher grade against blitz than Patrick Mahomes. He is going to kill the Baltimore Ravens blitz. Derek Carr killed the Baltimore Ravens blitz. Patrick Mahomes will too. This is, I think, getting this at a plus price. You look at like Tom Brady playing the Falcons. He's like minus 110 to throw over 2.5 passing touchdowns. This is, I think, the best bet on the board. But I would say if you are looking at some other opportunities, Travis Kelce over 7.5 receptions in that game against Baltimore, I also think is intriguing. Patrick Queen, not exactly the coverage maven that his.
As somebody who made 3 big bets Monday night, Josh Jacobs under, Lamar Jackson over, Darren Waller over 6.5 catches. Darren Waller dropped like 10 passes in that game and sailed over that number.
By the way, my bet in Monday night, I bet every single Tyson Williams over and him to score the first touchdown.
I had Marquise Brown first touchdown and he got the second one. I was like, God damn it. But yeah,
I was pleased. Let me put it that way. But I think both of those are really good. I absolutely love. I love a lot of props that I would go get. If you don't have a player props tool, you don't have an elite subscription yet, this is the week to go make that happen. There are some quarterback rushing props that I adore. But my favorite one is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You're out on Mahomes?
Let's do it. No,
let's ride with Mahomes, baby.
I don't hate on having the same bet every week if it has value. Giving me Patrick Mahomes. We were 3-1-1 in our write-ups last week, and also with the lock of the week. Let's have another one of those weeks, George.
I'm here for it. That game is going to be so much fun. It's on Sunday night, obviously. Chiefs Ravens. That is now Baltimore plus 3.5 at home. This is why you should listen to the podcast on Sunday night.
Can we review a little bit? So
we told you to bet Kansas City minus 2.5, and you got a buck ton of closing line value. You don't even have to go to the store. If you got that bet on Sunday, you didn't have to go grocery shopping this week because you're just eating closing line value all week.
Yeah, so we bet Cleveland minus 11.5. It's now minus 12.5. San Francisco minus 3. I believe it's now minus 3.5. We had Vikings plus 4.5. It is now plus 3.5. We had we did not touch Falcons, even though some people have. We had Chiefs at minus 2.5. It's now minus 3.5. Got all the way out to 4.5. And we had Packers at 10.5. I believe it's now 11. So that is just like what you end up with. The best part about that is you have outs now. If you don't like any of these games, or if you bet Kansas City, but let's say you're a Ravens fan and you just want to watch a fun game, bet the plus 3.5 and take the 9% on the 3 that you're going to get in case the game is close. Enjoy the game and don't sweat it out.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Actually, I'm like super down with that. I might go do that right now. Okay, Patrick Mahomes over 2.5 passing touchdowns plus 127. Sometimes there was a year where I bet the Patriots like every single freaking week, and I felt like kind of an idiot. We had them as our lock of the week so many times, and like I feel great about it when it's Tom Brady, and I feel almost even better about it when it's Patrick Mahomes. especially in prime time. This is going to be an amazing game.
I was insufferable watching the Chiefs game Sunday. I know that. I'm your friend, and you can tell me this. But there is like there's something comforting about the fact that that team looked like shit for the first half, and he had no touchdowns in the first half, and you still somehow got over 2.5 touchdowns.
And it wasn't even like it. You didn't even sweat it. It was amazing. Yeah. That is our podcast. A nice quick one today. Hopefully it was efficient. Go check out all of the great content at pff.com if you want more. Not interested. I am getting pizza tonight. I will have a recommendation potentially for a pizza place in New York.
Yeah, we got to get back to recommendations Friday or Saturday. I'm sorry,
Sunday. But yeah, we'll make that happen. I haven't eaten in this place in a very long time, so I don't want to spoil it. That is our show. Love y'all. See you Sunday night.